From bugs to barber, a curiosity that turned into calling. Today I want to shine a light on Alex Vega. He's my barber, and have him tell his story of how he got started, what his secret sauce is, how he got to this beautiful setup here, all while making me fresh, cutting me up. And you're gonna hear about his journey. You're gonna hear about how he got into this and what makes him successful. Let's do this.
Let's go. That's good.
All right. All right, so here we are. I'm getting freshened up by my main man, Alex Vega, on this episode of Right People, Right Places. So let's get into it. As you get into it here. How long have you been doing this now? Like, I'm trying to think. I think we've known each other for about 4 years.
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, I think you started off in a little shop in downtown Kenosha.
Yeah.
And yeah, let's kick into your story here. What were you doing? Obviously from bugs to barber.
Yeah.
Tell us about those bugs.
Yeah. So I appreciate Raul coming to the shop today and interviewing me and that intro. But yeah, I was a pest control technician.
Yeah.
For 7 years. I had my first son around that time, and it was a stable job. I was good at it. I was really good with the customer service and all that. But I didn't love it. It was just kind of something that paid the bills. And barbering was always kind of in the back of my mind. I always thought it was really cool. I loved the lifestyle. I loved going to the barbershop. A lot of my cousins that were coming from Puerto Rico always had really nice haircuts, and I would always ask them where they went. So, I started asking them where they would go, and I would go and I would just always ask the barber so many questions. Like, where'd you go to school? How'd you learn how to do this? Is this haircut hard? And I ended up just going so often, and there was a point where I was going once a week, for haircuts, and more so for just to pick their brain, and I kind of knew at that point that this was something that I kind of wanted to pursue.
Nice.
And at that point, right, living at home, living with the PUs, the parental units,
right.
And went to my dad. My dad's a pretty old school, traditional, Latino. Both my parents are, from Puerto Rico, so they had other views of, I didn't go the college route, so
right.
Well, if you're not gonna go the college route, you need to get a good paying job, and barber school didn't seem at the time, this was 2004. There just wasn't a whole lot of legit barbers or barber shops in my area.
Okay.
And it was just there was a stigma. Barbers were kind of, partiers, and they were not professional, and they kind of just did whatever, and professionalism wasn't a big thing at that time. So my dad didn't really see a future for me in that.
Right.
So he wasn't super supportive, and at that time, I'm 18, 19 years old, and for any type of financial aid, I need their signature. So
totally.
So that wasn't happening. So I kind of I just went the blue collar route and got different jobs and fell into pest control. And like I said, that was the most stable job that I had. And
how long did you do that for?
I did that for 7 years.
Wow. Okay. So this kind of took a back burner, this passion, this curiosity that happened at a very young age.
Yeah.
And you're just trying to be responsible, trying to get some income flow, trying
Absolutely.
to, also you want to, honor your parents and their perspective, their wisdom, but nonetheless, you got to make some money, and let's pursue this. And it sounds like there was a bit of a stigma as well. So it's like,
absolutely.
Okay, fine, let's back burner this and let's be responsible for now, right?
Yeah. So that was, I was a young kid, and fast forward, about 10 years.
Okay.
I was 29, and I was just unhappy with what I was doing, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. But barbering had took such a back seat, you know, I wasn't even really messing around with it. I had some Walmart clippers that I would mess around with sometimes, but I didn't do much of it. You know, I would try to give myself a taper or line myself up, but never really thought that I would ever end up where I am now behind the chair. So when I was in that crossroads of what do I do now?
Right.
I honestly and truly, I looked at what I was watching on YouTube.
Nice.
And what I was watching at YouTube at the time was actually just a lot of barber content. And I was watching a pretty well-known barber now, Chris Basio. I was watching him.
Nice.
And he had, what I liked is he had vlogs. And he was kind of showing more the lifestyle and the process of becoming a busy barber, a booked barber, and also kind of doing other things within the industry, which I thought was really cool. So that was kind of the catalyst to me starting. You know, I looked into different schools.
Yep.
I knew that I was gonna have to work while I was in school.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked at different schools. I wanted to go to a local community college, but it was 5 days a week, and it was, you know, a full-time job. It was like 8 to 5 p.m., and I just couldn't swing that with a full-time job. So
gig and family and
so I found a school about 45 minutes away. I was living in Wisconsin at the time, in Milwaukee.
Okay.
That offered part-time barber school. So it was about 3 days a week. Longer days, you know, about 8 hours.
Right.
But I was able to get all that done, you know, within a year. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of the start, you know, of following and truly learning how to cut hair, because I just kind of played around with it. I didn't really know the proper way, or even you know, I didn't know how to use shears. I didn't really know how to properly just do certain haircuts.
Right. So, kind of just, you know, when you knew something had to change. At the end of your 20s, early 30s, you started kind of exploring the YouTube and just getting some inspiration. It sounds like you got some inspiration, and that was enough to kind of push you over the edge. And all right, let's start seeing how we can make this happen with training. What school did you go to?
So I went to the Institute of Beauty and Wellness. Okay. It was in the 3rd Ward.
In the 3rd Ward
in Milwaukee. Okay. Yeah. And I had nothing but good things to say, like, about that school. And that's one thing too that you always have to keep in mind with these barber schools, no matter how good or bad they are. They're there so that you can pass the state board test. Right. They're really not there to teach you how to, like, cut hair. Right. Which is surprising, right? But they're there to teach you other skills too. You learn a lot of customer service, you know, stuff and things like that. But I really appreciate, like, I had good instructors. I still talk to a lot of the guys I went to barber school with. So cool. So it was cool. It was a really good experience. It was a smaller class size. I think it was, at the end of it, I think it was 5 of us, and then I think only ended up 3 of us ended up finishing. Okay. So it was a smaller class size for sure. But yeah, I really liked it. It was a good school to go to for sure. Excellent.
And then your first gig, was that with G's then? Or?
Yeah, so when I went to G's, it was Royals.
Okay, right.
Because Sal, shout out to Sal, he hired me. I would go there periodically for haircuts. Okay. And actually, Andrew, he has his own shop now as well, but he would cut my hair from time to time, and I used to pick his brain too and ask him, like, oh no, where'd you go to school? And we would talk about different YouTube creators in the barber space that we would watch. And I remember I would post a lot on Instagram, and Sal would message me like, oh hey, when you're ready, you know what I mean, we have a spot for you. And that was just so encouraging, you know, being in barber school and already having a spot to go to, you know, when I got done. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah, it was definitely like a good experience, and they showed a lot of love and support. You know what I mean? I didn't really have to like go around and look at other places, and it was convenient for me. It was maybe 10 minutes from where I was living, so
that's pretty cool.
Definitely appreciated that. Absolutely.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think even as you're talking, I'm just realizing that, you know, the work of a barber it's creative work. You know, it's work that, you know, it's solo work. I mean, you're working with, you know, you're doing the work. I mean, you're cutting my hair right now. It's you doing it, you know? And I'm just, as you're sharing, I'm realizing there's like a community here.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. And it sounds like, you know, from watching YouTube and getting some inspiration when you felt like, all right, something's got to change with, I can't do this pest technician stuff anymore. I need something else. Like, I think it's time to get this passion off the shelf again. And, you know, you connected with some inspiration on YouTube, and then you went to school and got connected with some great instructors, and then, you know, you came to Royals, which became G's, and I think, you know, I guess, you know, tell me about, you know, the importance of the community, of just being connected with barbers, and what that does for the art and your improvement in that way.
So for me, it was really a huge thing.
Yeah.
Being, you know, I was the oldest guy in the shop, you know, and seeing all these younger guys, you know, they were super social media savvy, and they were talented. They were just super talented barbers.
Yep.
And they were just really open to if I had any questions, you know what I mean? Which is, it can be nerve-wracking, you know, you're in the middle of a cut and maybe a cut you've never done before, a texture you've never done before, and you're scared to ask questions, you know what I mean? And they were just so open about it, like, hey, if you ever have questions, you know, like, feel free, like, you know, just ask. And, you know, Andrew would help me, Nello would help me, even one of the newer guys, Luis, like, he would, you know, if I had a question, you know, he would help me out. So I always appreciate Gavin, the owner, following Sal, you know. He would, and even before all that, when I was still in school, Sal would have let me come in and kind of bring a model and let me practice. Wow. And he would, we even did one where he did one side, I did the other, and, you know, and he would kind of show me his style, you know what I mean, and show me different techniques and stuff. So that was super, super helpful that we had that, like, tight community in there. And just talking, you know, being able to talk to guys that are doing the same thing as you. Yeah. And they're, you know, they want to get better just like you want to get better.
Absolutely.
So the community is definitely, at least for me personally, like, it's a big thing. It's a big deal. And even, you know, you connect with people that you may never even meet, you know, on Instagram. I have plenty of people that I've connected with over Instagram that I've never even met before. But we're both barbers, and we, you know, we appreciate each other's work.
Totally.
And we just we connect.
That's so
and I've had guys come in here, you know, that are new barbers, and we connect on Instagram, and like, oh yeah, come check out the shop and talk shop for a little while. And it's really a beautiful thing, the barbering community.
I love it. Yeah, I think even in, you know, I've been coming to you now for 4 years, and as we're talking about this, I'm just realizing, you know, I always thought of barbering as kind of a solo art, but I mean, the community is so important, and I think in terms of your learning, you know, to even just get courage. I mean, you know, as I'm kind of thinking about that journey of becoming a barber, like the idea of messing up on someone's cut, you know, like I never really thought about that, and as you're sharing, I'm like, how crucial it is to have good folks around you that push you, you know. You know, it's like any championship basketball team, any championship team, you got to have winners around you to kind of push you to do things that you wouldn't do on your own. But you know, it's such a critical part of accelerating your learning and your growth. So yeah, thanks for sharing on that. Yeah, just to shift gears a little bit here, you know, I'm in talent acquisition, and right now the big craze is AI and technology taking over, and we have jobs in 10 years and this kind of thing, and I think one of the things that's so crucial, whether it's recruiting, whether it's in any field, barbering, it's relationship. I think one of the reasons I keep coming here is because of our relationship. You've been a friend. You've pushed me to do things creatively with my hair that I wouldn't have probably done on my own. But you've been a therapist at times. Hearing out my anxieties and the different things going on in life, and so relationship is just absolutely crucial, and I know that's part of your secret sauce. I definitely see that, but just to ask the question, like, what is your secret sauce? How do you, what has made you successful? Obviously, you got the training, you got the right community around you, but at the end of the day, it's your passion and your perseverance that's going to make it happen, and just like we talked about relationship here. I'm sure these are some of those components, but I guess to hear from you, what is your secret sauce? What has got me here?
It's funny. Even when I first started, I used to talk to other veteran barbers, and I told them my thing, as you build up your skill level, I was like, I know right off the bat, I'm not as good as someone who's been cutting 10, 15, 20 years. Like, I was very aware, that I wasn't, and I was really aware that I wasn't like a natural talent. It took a lot of work, for me to kind of get where I am as far as cutting hair. So I knew right off the bat I had to kind of set myself apart by my customer service. And I was extremely professional, but also, I made sure it wasn't just transactional, right?
That's good.
I wanted to be, very respectful to everyone and everything, but you also have to feel out the vibe with your clients, and you can be a little bit more playful with some versus others. So I think that kind of set me apart. I was big on that. I don't make clients, I build relationships. And I was just...
Can you say that one more time? That's good.
I don't acquire clients, I build relationships, and I have many friends that I've had from behind the chair that I consider family, and it's because people can see sincerity. They can see if you're just here for yourself and to make some money, and people can feel that.
Totally.
And I've just heard this from other barbers, too, as well. But we need our clients a lot more than you need us. You know what I mean? And once you understand that, you'll go far. And
I love that.
Once you get that as a barber, like you'll be successful. And I think that's kind of like, not necessarily like my secret, but definitely it's a part in how I've kind of scaled my career and been able to go farther than other people, maybe in less time.
No, that's so good, man. So many insights there, so many nuggets there. My mind is blown. I think you said it just perfectly there. I think one of the things that I appreciate about you, Alex, is you're a great listener. You talked about knowing your audience a little bit there. Every person that you're cutting is different, and just being able to catch their vibe, like you were saying, and understand what it is they're trying to achieve. And what are they looking for, and I think even I just think about our interactions over the years, I love how you got to know me, and got to know my story. You got to know, and I mean that's got to be one of the most rewarding things of what you do is you get to know so many different people and
Absolutely.
their stories, and I love that. I love what you said there about relationship, and you know, again, just going back to you, I think you're such a great listener, and you ask great questions, I think, that are thought-provoking. And I know that I've, over the years of just coming to you, that trust has been built. So then, you know, you're an artist, you know, like that's what you do. And we've tried different things on my hair, and
Yeah.
I think that's part of you knowing your audience. You know, I think you can't really make suggestions or recommendations without really knowing who you're talking to. You know what I mean? And that's an art. And I think, in as much as it's an art for you to do hair, I think the other art is knowing people and knowing how to care for people. And I think you do that better than most. You'd be a good recruiter. But yeah, let's keep going with this. You know, we talked about secret sauce there, being relationships. You know, one of the things that we talk about on this podcast is entrepreneurship, or we touch into that topic. And I would say you're an entrepreneur in your own right. You know, you had to build a book of business. You know, that takes grit, that takes perseverance, that takes relationship, like we talk about. You know, tell us about that process. How did you build a book of business, and how do you cultivate that business so that it is for the long term?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So for me, and I know some other very good and successful barbers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for me, it started even in barber school. In barber school, I just tried to look like a pro, you know, professional, and I was, as soon as I knew where I was gonna end up, as far as after school, what shop, I was already letting my regulars at barber school where I was gonna be, and you know, a lot of them followed me from barber school.
Nice.
And just building those relationships, you know, and being vulnerable, you know what I mean, and communicating, you know. I think that's always what helped me. I always kind of, once you let people into your journey, they're invested. They're invested, and they want to see you win. You know, they want to see you win, and you know, a lot of guys, you know, they're creatures of habit, right? So they want to have a regular barber, you know, and you know, even if they have to drive an hour or 45 minutes or 20 or whatever it may be, you know, if they like you and they mess with you, they will do it, you know. And you're a prime example, right?
I'm here.
I was 10 minutes away, and now I'm 30, 40 minutes away.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like, so
once you find a good barber, that's it. You know,
and
it's true.
Yeah, it's just building a busy book. Is just coming in early, staying late, not passing up any haircuts. There will be a point in your career where you can be a little more picky. Yep. But in the beginning is not it. You know, if you're not willing to do those things, then maybe it's not for you. But but you have to. I feel like it just translates to anything really. Like there's no substitute for hard work. Yes. You know, and you know, if you're here early and you stay late, like, you will get busy. Yeah. You know, you will get busy. And when it's time to maybe, you know, not stay as late and not come in as early, your clients will adjust. You know, your clients will adjust, and you'll still have that consistent, you know, income, and whether you want to raise your prices or whatever it may be, they won't bat an eye. Right. Because you've been consistent, you know. So I feel building a busy book is just consistency, you know, and just, you know, not to sound so cliche, but like trusting the process. That's good. You know, trusting the process that it's not always going to be like this. It's not always going to be days where you cut one or two heads, you know. Right. Before you know it, you know, you're going to be busy, and you're not going to have enough hours in the day, you know, to fit everyone in, you know. So I love that, trusting the process. Yeah, I mean, that's, again, it goes back to relationship, you know. It's, you know, you have to
relationships build trust, right? And a relationship in and of itself is a process. It's not something that happens in a moment, it happens over time.
Yeah.
And you're so right. You have to commit to that process, and what a great piece of advice for barbers that are, or maybe those that are kind of hobby barbers right now that are tinkering around to hear that, you know, because once you get started in the journey, it's like, if you want to see this thing through, if you want to get to the other side, to the destination, you know, for you it was having this book of business and being able to have a sustainable income, and you know, here you are, you know. I think I started coming to you right around the time that you got started.
I was, I think, a few months out of barber school. And
you know, I've seen you just kind of continue down this road, and you know, do it with grace and having fun. You know, I love it. I love it.
I did want to add one little thing to that too, like kind of, I guess, like a mini shout out to just when I first started. Sal obviously helped me a lot, you know, with kind of just doing my thing, even though he was kind of near the end of his ownership. He ended up selling. But Gavin, who bought the shop, he helped me a lot as far as he was so busy that he passed on a lot of clients to me.
Wow.
But it was my job to keep them, right? So I was able to keep a lot of them. So I'm super grateful to him for you know, doing that, for, you know, giving me kind of that overflow and giving me that jump start.
So good. That's so good.
And even here currently, you know, with my coworker, with Christine, you know, you know, we trust each other too. Like if she's away, you know, she trusts me to take care of her clients. I trust her to take care of my clients, you know.
Yep.
So I definitely am grateful for having been able to work with people that like support each other.
Yeah.
And you know, we trust each other. Like, hey, like, I'm gonna be out of town for a few days. Like some of my clients, they're gonna need, you know, they have events to go to, this and that and the third. You know, we trusted each other to take care of each other's clients. So definitely grateful that I was in situations like that, because it's not like that for everyone. You know, there's not always that support. There's sometimes certain shops that can be a little competitive. Mm-hmm. But I definitely did not experience that.
Love it. No, thanks for sharing that. Yeah, again, trust. You know, you can't build business without trust. You can't build community without trust. You can't build a book of business without trust. I mean, I think in what you're saying, that's really standing out to me, and trusting the process. And you know, I love that you're even honoring those that just offered help. And offered, you know, gave you the overflow of their business, and again, it just speaks to the impact of community. And yeah, it's a solo art, but we can't do life in isolation. We need people, you know, and I think that this is a testament to that. So great. You know, one thing that I was thinking about in what you were sharing as well, you know, me being in talent acquisition, and you know, even working with different organizations, sometimes you come at a crossroads. You said something interesting that kind of popped out at me, and you know, just people not being a fit sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you can't make everyone happy. You know, so even with, you know, for me in talent acquisition, I could find someone that on paper looks fantastic, fits the bill. It's got the skills for a particular job. You bring them on, all of a sudden 3 months in, they're struggling, and it's just not the right fit. And it's not because they're not, you know, it could be that they're talented, they're skilled, but it's just not the right fit. The company isn't the right fit for them. And it sounds like that could be the case in barbering. Like 100%. Sometimes you're trying to make that connection with someone. You're trying to meet that need and delivering on the art, on what they want in terms of a cut. You know, tell me about that. How do you, you know, I don't know if there's an example that's come up where that's happened, and how do you do that gracefully, you know?
You know, like you said, you can't make everyone happy. You just kind of do your best, ask a lot of questions, you know, in the consultation, but kind of referring like where you were saying like with talent acquisition.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talented barbers.
Yeah.
But not all of them have the people skills. Not all of them have the customer service skills. And to be quite frank, like there's a lot of ego in this industry. And some people think that because they're so talented, they don't have to do the normal things: be on time, timely, be polite. You know, sometimes you gotta watch your language or something when kids are in the shop, or you just have to be mindful. You have to be mindful of your surroundings, and that it's very rare that we fire clients, right? But people fire us all the time. You know what I mean? For different reasons, location, distance, or they just don't like a certain aspect of your service. Some people don't want to sit in the chair for an hour. Some people are cool with it.
Right.
Some barbers are, they can give a great service in 30 minutes, or 20 minutes, and people love that. They love that they can be in and out. Because people have things to do. So, yeah, I think it's just there's definitely you can't just walk around and rely solely on your skill, on your skill set. You gotta have kind of the total package, and it's just not you find that a lot with barbers. They get frustrated and they don't understand why they're not, why their clients keep leaving, and they're like, oh, but my cuts are good, but it's not all about your haircuts, it's you have to be personable, you have to actually care, you have to actually care about people, and it's a really,
that's good.
It's a really just personal business, intimate business, because we're, other than doctors, we're kind of, and like massage therapists and things like that, we're one of the few professions where we break the touch barrier. You know what I mean?
Well, that's interesting.
You gotta, I wouldn't want someone I don't trust or just someone I don't really like touching me. You know what I mean? So
yeah, wow, that's huge what you're saying right there. I mean, who else do you let in to take care of you, other than a doctor? I never really thought about that with a barber. They're in your personal space.
Absolutely.
Love that. Yeah, there's going back to a conversation we had earlier, just about, I mean, you've inspired me to try new things. I mean, what I've got going on here with this mullet, it's a year in the making. I guess just to ask, I mean, I don't know if this is the case with other clients that you have, but how do you inspire your clients to maybe try something that is slightly outside of their comfort zone? Because I would say, like, I never in my wildest dreams thought I would have a mullet. And here I am with a mullet, and I'm loving it. In fact, my boys now have mullets. So, I'd love to kind of hear, what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, so for me, it's definitely like a trust thing. And it's definitely, some clients are just a little more open. They're open to change. And I'll definitely, when that trust is built, if they've been rocking a style that, it looks good on them, but, maybe as a professional, you look and you're like, man, I think, they've been getting a fade all these years, when really, I feel like they would look so much better if they got a taper, or if they got this, or, maybe they've been slicking their hair back, and it looks okay, but it really wants to go to the side, you know what I mean? So, it's just building that trust. And I heard a barber on Instagram, I can't remember who it was, but he really was big on like the professional mindset that we're the pros, right? So you have to give off that energy that you're the professional, and we are, right? We studied, we went to school, we consume a lot of content, on new styles and things like that. So you have to project that professional pro mindset, that, and I get it all the time, and my coworkers get it all the time too, like, oh, what do you think? What do you think? And we have to be honest with them, and a lot of the times too, people walk in and they don't really know what they want. Some guys want something easy, low maintenance. You know what I mean? And we have to give them their professional opinion. When I'm not going to give someone sky high pompadour when I know they're not going to style it. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you know that person. You know what I mean? Like, I know this person's not going to get up and blow dry. So why would I give them a style that requires that? You know?
Wow.
So it's all just really getting to know your clientele and like being confident as far as giving them maybe like something that they don't want to hear, right? Like they've maybe, like I said, maybe they've been slicking their hair back for years, but it doesn't look right, because maybe they have a crazy cowlick or something, and and you gotta suggest what would look better, what would look better for them,
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I think there's something about your approach there. I think I think one of the other things that inspires me about you and why I've had the courage to try the different things that we've done over the years, especially with this mullet, is you kind of practice what you preach on yourself. I remember you had a mullet for a bit.
I had a mullet. I've done the undercut. I had the mustache. I don't know if you remember the mustache. I had the mustache. I keep wanting to bring that one back.
Oh man!
But I've definitely, other than color, I've never really colored my hair.
Right.
But I've definitely rock different styles, and so I think people see that I'm open to it. So it gives them a little more confidence that they would be open.
Totally.
And get your mustache.
Oh, go for it.
But yeah, it's fun too. When you gotta also when you're giving this advice to maybe switch up the style, you have to be conscious of maybe like what they do for a living, or just their lifestyle. Maybe they're really active. Like so, again, they maybe don't have time to style their hair. So you just have to be really, really observant of what your client, just their lifestyle. Yeah.
I love that. I mean, even as you're talking, I'm also kind of thinking like, man, this is, even just, I'm in the recruiting field, and I'm just thinking, gosh, seriously, you'd be a fantastic recruiter, because not only do you understand the stash, gotta cut the stash. Not only do you understand people, you understand business, and I think a lot of recruiters either they miss on one or the other, and I just think even in this episode, I'm thinking, gosh, like so many nuggets here. I mean, across industries, sales. I mean, what you're talking about is sales. You're talking about what you said about transactional. In customer service, that's not transactional. Like people buy from people they like. Like that's just the truth.
That is. Hit the other side before. That's so funny that you say that too, because in conversation I've said that so many times. Like especially if you have a regular barber or your barber, if you're a woman, your nail tech, your whatever, the people you take your oil, for your oil change, like. You might as well like them because you're gonna see them a lot. You know what I mean? So, it's one of those things. Yeah, like you said, that people are gonna support people they like. And I think that's why a lot of my clientele, even like if you switch shops or if increase your prices or you hit a milestone in your life or anything, they're happy for you because they want to see you win. They want to see you succeed. And they want to be part of that journey.
Right. I love that. Yeah. Again, it's like I feel like this is coming full circle here, and my next question is, you inspire people to do things maybe that they haven't wanted to try in the past, and just get courage to check those things out. And how do you stay inspired in this work? It's
for me what's big is honestly, and this is when social media is a blessing. When you're not consuming some of the toxic stuff, but when you're in the good communities where we all support each other, and I strongly believe that there's just more positive than negative in the barbering space. There's groups on Facebook and stuff, but honestly, Instagram really motivates me, because there's a lot of good guys out there, good veteran barbers that just drop so many good nuggets, and they just really like, you can tell that they care and they want to see the next generation of barbers do well. You know, they're really not out here just to, we all want to make some money, right? Like that's no secret, right? But they do want to make sure that this industry stays around and stays professional, and that's really what really inspires me. And just seeing at a local level, like seeing my friends succeed, my barbering friends, open up shops, or increase their prices, or just some of them have cut like celebrities or football players, and that's always cool to see. That's always cool.
Those milestones, yeah. I love that. Yeah, that's again, I think, this is a grind. It's work. It's building relationships takes time, and I think you inspire me. You inspire so many, and being able to stay inspired, that's got to be a challenge. But I guess my next question, you talked about the future of the art, barbering. What's in your future? What do you want to do here when you think about the next 5 to 10 years? And I know that kind of seems ominous, but
so I would definitely like to. I don't think I would ever not be behind the chair. Maybe not as much, in 5 or 10 years, but I'd definitely like to pursue other things, but within the industry. You know what I mean? I thought, for a while that I wanted to maybe do something outside the industry, but I love it so much, right, that I really want to. I've had the idea for a while to do like a barber supply.
Ooh, interesting.
That's something that I'd really like to do, just because locally there's really not like a nice one. You know what I mean? So I'd like to do something like that. Possibly just grow within the industry. And I know for a bit I was wanting to do maybe like try to do education. But I kind of put that on the back burner just because it didn't become like my passion anymore. It was more like, it seemed like it would be more work than fun.
Right.
But yeah, definitely like some type of like barber supply would be really cool, and to kind of give that back to the local barber community would definitely be a cool thing to do.
Love it. Yeah. I think you talked about future there. You talked about man, you got a lot of good ideas, and it sounds like you kind of have to. I love that you have different pathways to where you could go with this. I love that it's not just barbering, but it's there's supporting the community through a supply, or
Absolutely.
I think that there's so many different. I think that's one of the things that's at the heart of entrepreneurship is ideas, innovation, and you kind of have to keep that free flowing. And I think it goes back to inspiration. Yeah,
and I think too, like, it's not some of my goals aren't necessarily, because just with there's a lot of really hungry young barbers, and they're doing really, really well, and I don't necessarily want like, I don't need to have like 7 shops or 10 shops or any shops for that matter. If I don't, or if I don't feel like that's what the path I want to take, you can still be a really successful barber renting a chair, at a shop that you're happy at, and it's just little milestones. If you want to get into real estate, or if you want to, things like that. Yeah, I'm definitely keeping my options open, and I have a few things kind of in the pipeline that, that hopefully I can talk about in a bit. But yeah, I think it's just cool to keep an open mind and not just center it with that. If you don't have your own shop, you're not successful. It's just not the case. I know plenty of barbers that been doing this, 10, 15, 20 years, and they still rent a chair and they're happy, and they do all kinds of stuff, as far as, business ventures and things like that. So
I love that. I love that. Yeah, that's just, I think that's such great advice for up and coming barbers. And just there's a lot of fallacy. That's a $20 word, fallacy.
Yeah, it is.
I'm calling myself out on that one.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times people can get ideas in their head about what success is, and I like how you're just breaking it down. Look, success can look like having a shop, or success can look like having your own chair at a shop, and you don't have to worry about the business side, and you can just deal with what you love best, the art and the relationship.
Kind of one of my, just to make myself a little vulnerable too, like one of my biggest, it's funny, right? I say it's a flex, but it's not that I have a new car or a beach house or anything like that. Honestly, just because it's been a grind, and been a grind financially, in the beginning and everything. And what I joke with my older brother, one of my biggest flexes is that I have all my bills on auto pay. You know what I mean? So what I mean? So that for me, that's a win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
a win,
man. Come on.
You mean that's a win? I don't have to. I remember being in barber school, and looking for change so that I could put gas in my car. You know what I mean? So, and now to be in a position where I don't have to worry about my comment bill or my gas bill, or, or putting gas in my car. I can fill it up. You know what I mean? I'm good to go. So
that's so good.
It's the small wins, right? And it's all how you look at it, how you look at life, and it's not all beach houses and Bugattis. You know what I mean? Like,
beach houses and Bugattis. I love it. Yeah. I love that. You just being able to appreciate the process, appreciate people.
Absolutely.
It's about, go get your beach house and Bugatti, but at the end of the day, you see people in Hollywood that have everything they ever wanted. And but yet they still feel like they're missing it. And I think I love the perspective you're bringing here, because the riches isn't in the stuff. Again, the riches is in the relationship.
Absolutely.
So, I guess kind of in rounding out the conversation, we're talking about the next generation. We're talking about the art. What would you say is like a piece of advice or that you would pass on to any barber out there that is maybe looking to make the leap? Or what would be one nugget of wisdom or advice that you would share to those out there in your shoes some years back now?
Yeah, definitely. I for like a younger barber, fresh out of barber school, definitely, just like I said before, just put in the work. Don't pass up haircuts. I let it be known I'm not the biggest fan of doing like kids haircuts, but I did them. You know what I mean? I did them, and it built up my book, and so just don't pass up haircuts. Come in early, leave late. Ask a lot of questions. There's no. That's the thing too. I think with social media, it kind of jades us, but. When you come into a shop, any good veteran barber, like, we don't expect you to be amazing.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We don't expect you to be amazing. Just be on time, be timely, be professional. That's really all, that's all we expect, and, just put in the work. Put in the work, and especially if you're a single guy, younger guy, like, work 5 days, 6 days, work 7 days, you know what I mean? Like, to build up that clientele, and just put in the time, put in the hours. It's not gonna come overnight, but it's not always gonna be that way. That's what I would say to them too. Like, remember that it's not always gonna be this way. Grind it out for a few years, and you're gonna be where in a position that you never thought before. In the beginning, your setup, as far as your clippers and trimmers and stuff, might not be as great as someone who's been doing it longer, but in a few years you'll be able to buy any clipper that you want, you know, and you know, it's cool. You'll see the process. You just have to, like I said before, trust it.
Yes.
You know, trust the process, and it's like anything in life. Barbering is no different from any other job, career, accomplishment that you want to accomplish. You have to put in the time.
Yes.
It's not going to happen overnight. You know, you're not going to be making $10K a month right off the bat. You know, it's just not going to happen, you know.
Totally.
So, just put in the time, put in the work, and, you know, with time you'll see the growth, you know.
Love it. Yeah, I mean, we've come full circle here.
Yeah.
You began with talking about trusting the process, relationship, and
Absolutely.
and now, you know, we're kind of concluding here with trusting the process and relationship. You know, it's
grab your towel.
yeah, go for it. Barbering is life. I'm like thinking, gosh, did I miss my calling here? Did I? As I'm hearing you talk about your passion here, it's really inspiring me. I'm like, man, I think that's why I love what I do in the recruiting space and talent acquisition is I get to hear about people's passions, and I love seeing people do what they do best.
Yeah, absolutely.
It lights me up. It inspires me, and I love people. Again, the name of this podcast is Right People, Right Places.
Yeah.
You know, it's like there's nothing better than helping people find their place.
Absolutely.
You know, and it sounds like you found your place. You know, and it took some time, and it took you know. Sometimes you have to let go. You gotta back burner it, but if it's real, if it's a passion, if it's something that is in your heart, like, and you got fight for it, it's gonna come back about.
Like anything too, I feel like barbering, it's like you said, it's an art. So there's, and I mean it more in the sense with careers that are arts. Not a lot of people get it. And not a lot of people are going to support it. So more than likely, your parents won't support it. They won't get it. Your spouse may not support you. Your friends, they might not get. They just don't get it. You know. So just don't expect everyone to be your cheerleader. You know, right off the bat, because it is not. You know, you're not an accountant. You're not going to a 4-year college. You know. It's unorthodox, right? It's a different career path. So just don't get discouraged. You know, just if that's what you really want to do, just keep pushing. Keep pushing, and you'll get to where you want to be. You know.
Cool. Well, Alex, it has been a pleasure, man. It has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your treasure with me here. Literally sharing your time and your treasure, which is your talent, man. Like, I've really appreciated this, and you know, I want to kind of hand it over to you and just let the audience know, like, where they can find you, where they can connect with you if you know, they want a fresh cut like this one. You know, you want one like this. You know, what's your socials? What's you know, what's your handle? Let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm big on Instagram. My Instagram is Soft Spoken Barber. And the shop that I'm at is Blended Barbershop in Lake Bluff, Illinois. We have a website, blendedbarber.com. You can go on there and book a service, as well as the shop's Instagram is Blended847. So you can see our content on there. I've been a little more interactive on my personal one right now. I'm trying to build up my own personal brand, Soft Spoken Barber. So those are the two main spots you can find me. My Instagram and Facebook are kind of linked together, so you can see both. What I post on Instagram will go to my Facebook, and on Facebook my name's Alexander Vega, so you can just find me on there. And those are the two main spots where you can find us and drop in. We're on the North Shore, right here on 65 East Scranton Avenue in Lake Bluff. We're on the lower level. Take the elevator when you see Half and Half Pizza. Take it down to the lower level, and you'll see our little hidden gem right here in Lake Bluff. It's myself, Christine Santiago, Olga Terran, and the old owner, Raymond Hernandez. He also works here from time to time. So head on the website, blendedbarber.com, if you're looking to get a cut, looking to get fresh.
Yeah, that's a wrap.